What's good? In case you hadn't noticed, we're kind of doing one of these what ifs a month. It gives me time to keep it somewhat fresh, and also some of these, take a little bit to do. So we're doing what if Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. That's exciting just to think about, right? But we gotta, as you see me alter these statistics or the attributes accordingly for Mayweather, I did the best I could trying to create them. Uploaded a pretty good picture of him. Some angles of him you'll see later on in the video kind of looks like him, some of them don't. But I was trying to get the stats right more than anything. So now keep this one thing in mind, all right? Before everybody gets all crazy and all that stuff. Floyd Mayweather is my favorite fighter, probably in the last 15, 20 years, right? In terms of, we're just talking about in-ring stuff, And so the thing to remember is this. Floyd's a boxer, okay? Has not been trained in any other discipline besides boxing. Conor McGregor obviously has been trained in some other disciplines. He is primarily a striker, uses kicks and punches, but so if we're talking about a mixed martial arts contest, obviously Conor's going to have a little bit of an advantage, but Floyd is such a good boxer. It's a lot of ifs. So there's ifs within the what if, right? Because there's one of the ifs is, well, one of the conditions is you have to ask yourself is how much takedown defense would Floyd practice if he say for, because this will never happen. Let's just keep it plain. This will never happen. There's no reason for Floyd to ever do this. Now Conor would probably do it because Conor isn't on the financial level even close to what Floyd is. Like, as much money as Conor's made, he's made a lot of money by UFC standards. And if anybody knows about the money that's passed out between UFC and boxers, you all know what Floyd has made is probably more than what every single UFC fighter has made in their career combined, literally. Probably. I don't know if I don't have any statistics to back that up, but that's just how big the difference is, right? So this will never happen. But say for instance it did. How much training would Floyd go through in terms of trying to train and take down defense? I think it would be somewhat of a waste of his time to train too much offensive grappling. He's not going to submit anybody. It would take years for him to prepare to get to that level. He's not going to submit anybody. What he mostly needs to learn is how to not get taken down. He needs to learn how to not get submitted in the event that he does get taken down, which obviously I'm not trying to say this is easy things to train or something he can pick up in 2.5 weeks. It's going to take a little bit of time. But he doesn't need to learn how to be offensive on the ground, because his whole thing winning this fight, if this would have ever happened, would have to be done with his fist, with his movement in a stand-up situation. Now, obviously, as far as we know, Floyd has never kicked anybody, at least not in a ring, so kicks are not would not be part of his repertoire. Well, here's one of the images. That one ain't as bad. That was not quite as bad if you just tilt your head a certain kind of way, close your left eye, whatever. Anyway, however it works. We're about to go into the octagon. Now, I'm gonna be honest. Maybe it would be fair if I did a part 2 to this. I'm not sure if I'll do this or when I'll do it, so y'all don't say look for this next week or nothing like that. But it would probably be cool if I did a part 2 to see what would happen if we created Conor McGregor in a boxing game. Please, somebody make another boxing game so I don't have to keep going to Fight Night Champion that was made in 1962. But you know what I'm saying. If we put Conor in Floyd's arena and said, well, let's go. But for right now, we're going to do EA Sports UFC. This ain't even EA Sports UFC 2, which will be out sometime shortly. I believe the release date, unless something's pushed back, is March 26th or March 29th. Now I'm recording this ahead of time, y'all, so If a release date has already happened, I may have even commented on it already in another channel, but this video was recorded before I was able to make those comments. So unless something changed, I think it's like March 26th, March 29th, something like that. So here's the face down. That don't look too much like Floyd at all. I don't know who that is. That's Bobby. But it's going to be Floyd today. Y'all just deal with it. Come on, come with me now. Come with me. First round action. Now, Floyd starts off, look, and they gonna touch gloves. Yeah, Floyd would do that. But Floyd starts off, he kicks before he does anything else. No, that would never happen. That would never happen. He is not, I don't think Floyd would lift his foot up at all in this particular fight at all. This would all be about punching. But that would probably put him at maybe a little bit of a disadvantage because of how fast Conor can kick. And so he can cover, obviously, legs are longer than arms, you know. But the thing about it is the dodging. You know, if Floyd could counter a kick, sidestep a kick, or duck a kick and come back up with a combination. A lot of y'all are probably thinking, especially if you're not big-time boxers, like hardcore boxing fans, a lot of you probably thinking, well, Conor punches way harder than Floyd. I don't know about that, sir. First of all, think about this. You might be talking about, oh, Conor knocked out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds. But Conor is also fighting in 4 and 5 ounce gloves, man. Floyd fights in 16 ounce gloves. That's a humongous difference. If you let Floyd connect with somebody clean on their chin in 4 and 5 ounce gloves, I think you'd see some people going away as well. So another thing about Floyd is Floyd could punch harder than he does, but he chooses to punch the way he does without putting his entire body into shots. So he sacrifices the power for the speed. Now the point of the question that you'd have to ask is, you see him lean in with that left hand. Now the weird thing here is look at him stuff to take down. Look, the thing we're looking at here is, for whatever reason, Floyd is switching back and forth from southpaw, from orthodox to southpaw, which is something that you never see him do. So I'm not sure why, well, I know why, because this is not truly Floyd. This is something that happens with the EA Sports UFC game that wouldn't, and when we create them, there's no setting where you can say never switches stances, or I would love a setting that says how frequent does a guy throw kicks. Like if you're creating a guy, you want to like mess with his AI or whatever, his tendencies. It'd be cool if you could say, how often does he, oh, Floyd got hurt, kick to the stomach, oh, Floyd got a knee to the stomach, oh, Floyd got a spinning back fist on his jaw. Oh, Floyd's got himself together, but he was a little bit dinged up there in the second round. Definitely a little dinged up. But it would be nice if you could alter that setting that says, rarely kicks, rarely throws punches, or something to that effect. That would be pretty cool. Maybe they'll do that for EA Sports UFC 2. Like I said, I may have already told you guys some information about that by the time you actually see this. So, Floyd in the clinch, that's another thing, right? You might think, because, the tendency might be to think that mixed martial artists are automatically physically stronger than boxers. And I think in some situations that could be the case. But one of the things that you hear people say when they talk about Floyd is how strong he is, especially at 147. Now, you're not going to hear people say that at 154, because at 154, I don't think he's one of the stronger guys. He's strong enough to hold his own in the clinch, but not excessively strong. But at 147, you don't see people in the clinch moving Floyd where they want him to go. He pretty much handles that himself. Part of it is his excellent footwork. The other part of it is that he is indeed strong. Now, the thing about Conor, though, is that Conor is a special athlete in his own right. He is special. The doubting of him is just ridiculous at this point. It really is. And as you look at, this simulation is kind of whatever it is here. I am noticing and liking the fact that I can see that Floyd's boxing prowess is kind of peeking through. But Conor's a special athlete. I don't think that, it's no don't think. I know that in a boxing match, Conor will be torn to shreds by Floyd. But this is not a boxing match. This would be an MMA contest. And in an MMA contest, Conor's ability to kick, I also think he has a pretty decent chin, because what a lot of people don't realize is when he caught Aldo, he got caught himself. and he took that shot. Now, some of that steam could have been taken off Aldo's punch because he was getting knocked out in the process of throwing it. But, you know, Conor's a pretty tough dude. We saw how he got beat up by Chad Mendes. Literally, Chad Mendes had him, but gassed out, and Conor outlasted him. And to his credit, dispatched him in workmanlike fashion as soon as Chad gassed. So, I think it would be interesting. I think it would be interesting. In a boxing match, I think Floyd just dismantles him, and it's embarrassing, I think is what it would be. I think it would be just flat embarrassing. But in an MMA contest, I think that Conor probably submits him. I don't think he knocks him out with a kick or anything, because Floyd's defense is impeccable. It is really impeccable. And, you know, like I said, obviously you give Floyd an opportunity to train against, you know, some MMA fighters, understanding, you know, where the punches and the strikes are coming from different angles at this point. I think he is. I mean, obviously, the other thing you got to look at is Floyd's old. Floyd's 38, 39 years old. So that's the one thing you also got to consider. But if we're talking about like in his prime, I think that he sees a lot of that stuff coming and he dodges it. But once Conor shoots for that takedown, it takes a lot of training to get to the point where you are able to stop takedowns. And now Floyd's an exceptional athlete with great instincts and outstanding quick twitch athleticism, but I don't know. And if Conor ever does get him down, it's a wrap. I mean, it's a wrap. Conor's not even a submission style fighter, but if you're talking about a guy who is in the UFC, is a B- level submission guy against a guy who has never trained the submissions in his whole life. Now, there's no way in the world you're gonna see Floyd doing rubber guard, but the guy who has never trained a submission in his life, he is going to be just in peril, pretty much. That's what's going to happen. But I thought this was an interesting simulation. Floyd holding his own a little bit here, landing some counter punches, landing some lead left hand, lead right hand shots. But the thing that was that we saw here in this simulation is that he couldn't seem to hurt Conor. Couldn't seem to hurt him. Even when he landed these shots, it was weird too that Floyd ended up getting like 2 or 3 takedowns. But when he got the takedowns, it didn't take long for that to happen. Conor would flip him over, change position, and this particular time, he takes Floyd's back. Watch this double fist to the side of the head. Oh my God, that would be just nasty. And then he's just pounding on Floyd from top position, from the mount position, just teeing off. And I don't think there's any way Floyd would know how to get up from a mount position. From being mounted, there's no way in the world he's gonna power up that way to get Conor off of him. So we're moving into the 5th round of this whole deal. Conor it's gonna be really interesting to see what goes on with Conor in regards to what he does with Floyd's down. Floyd's back up, but he got hurt. If Conor can become the lightweight champion as well, man, we're talking about somebody who now has to be considered like maybe one of the greatest of all time. There's not a lot of people. I'm trying to think of who are the people in UFC history who have held a championship in more than one division, and I'm trying to think. Like Frankie Edgar was the lightweight champion, and here we're going to the decision, and you can look at Floyd's face and tell that he ain't gonna win it. Be water. But there may be somebody that is escaping me for whatever reason, and it's probably somebody from old like when the weight classes were first put in. I know Dan Henderson's been a world champion in several different weight classes. Conor wins the unanimous decision. It was 49-46 on 2 cards, 50-45 on the 3rd. But I don't believe he's done that in UFC. I could be wrong. I don't think so though. But that was this simulation just for fun, people. Just for fun. Maybe I'll do a part 2 with Floyd in the boxing ring. But I appreciate you watching. God bless. Peace.